I make a small mistake with a tray of pastas, and I cannot take it back. The bakery is quiet in that suburban way where sound feels padded. Outside, sprinklers hiss behind trimmed hedges. Inside, the only constant noise is the ovens, their polite beeps, and the low breath of heat. It is early enough that the glass cases are empty and the air still smells like yesterday until the first butter hits the stone. I am alone behind the counter, wiping flour from my hands onto my apron when my phone buzzes in my pocket. I should not even check it. The owner hates phones on the floor, but I glance anyway, because I have that itch I always regret, and because my hands are already dirty and I tell myself I will only look for a second. One missed call. No number, just unknown. I tap it, intending to dismiss it. My thumb slips, and I hit voicemail. The screen goes dark for a breath. Then the speaker fills with a thin tone, like someone holding a spoon against a glass and not letting it ring out. Then a voice I recognize says my name. It is my own voice. It is close, like my mouth is pressed against the microphone, and I can hear my breath between words. Do not look up, it says. My skin tightens. I pull the phone away and stare at it, like the device is the one speaking and not the recording. The message continues anyway. You are making a mistake, my voice says. It is small. You will tell yourself it is nothing. You will do it again. I stab the stop button. My thumb is slick with butter and flour and it takes 2 tries. The voicemail cuts off mid-breath. I stand there, listening to the bakery. The ovens beep once, twice, 3 times, and then pause. It takes my brain a moment to realize the beeps are not random. They have a rhythm. Short and long. Short, short, long. And pause. Then long, short, short. Morse code. I do not know Morse well. Only the few letters you learn because they are used in movies. But I know enough to recognize that it is not just a timer chirp. It is deliberate. I stare at the ovens through the pass-through window into the back. Their digital displays glow steady, but the beeps continue, as if the ovens have decided to talk. The phone screen lights again. A notification appears. Voicemail, it says. New message. I have not received a new call. I have not touched anything but stop. My hands tremble. I tap the voicemail icon. There is only one message, the same unknown, but the duration has changed. It is longer now. I should delete it. I should walk to the back office and turn off the ovens and call the owner. I should do a lot of things. Instead, I press play. My voice returns calmer, like I have accepted something. You stopped it, it says. That is worse. If you let it play, you would have heard where to stand. A chair scrapes in the seating area. It is a small sound, a slow drag across tile, but it is loud in the quiet. The front tables are empty. I see them in the reflection of the glass case. Round cafe tables, 2 chairs each. Everything aligned the way I leave it after closing. But one chair is not aligned. It is angled outward like someone has just risen from it. I turn my head to look directly. Nothing. The chairs are all tucked in. When I turn back to the glass case, the reflection shows the chair still pulled out. My stomach drops so hard it feels like a physical tug. I lean closer to the glass, my breath fogging it. In the reflection, behind the pulled-out chair, there is a shape. Not a person, not a silhouette with clean edges. It is a disturbance, like heat haze, like the air is folding around something that should not fit. I look up, away from the case, toward the seating area. Nothing. I look back at the reflection. The distortion is closer. My phone continues playing on its own. I did not touch it again. The audio is still my voice. It can only exist where you can see it twice, my voice says. That is the rule. I clamp my hand over the speaker like I can smother the words. The sound muffles but does not stop. I swipe the screen blindly. It ignores me. My breathing gets loud. I force myself to stare at the seating area directly, not through glass, not through reflection. Everything is normal. Sunlight is just beginning to seep through the front windows, turning the street outside into pale gold. A jogger passes. A car rolls by. But the glass case in front of me is a mirror with pastries behind it, and it is showing me a chair that is not where it should be, and a presence that is not present. I step away from the case, backing toward the kitchen door. The ovens beep again. Sharper. Short, short, short. Long, long, long. Short, short, short. Even I know that one. The bakery smells suddenly wrong, like hot pen is under butter. I push into the back room and shut the door behind me. The kitchen is stainless steel, flour dust on every surface, proofing boxes stacked like coffins. The industrial mixer sits silent. The ovens line the wall, their windows dark. The beeping continues, but now it sounds like it is coming from inside my head. My phone screen goes black, then lights again. Voicemail. Updated. The duration is longer again. I do not want to press play. My thumb does it anyway, as if the small mistake is not just listening, but obeying. My voice whispers, if you close the door, it moves to the next reflection. I freeze. Every surface back here reflects. The oven windows, the stainless counters, the mixing bowl, the metal door of the fridge, even the puddle of water by the sink from last night. I slowly turn my head toward the oven windows. In the dark glass, my own face stares back, pale, eyes wide. Behind me in the reflection, something is standing in the doorway I just closed. I whirl around. The doorway is empty. I look back to the oven glass. The shape is closer now, as if it has stepped into the room, as if it is learning the geometry of my fear. My voice on the voicemail says, it follows the line between you and you. I swallow. My throat tastes like yeast. I do something stupid. I grab a dish towel and fling it over the nearest oven window, covering the reflection. For a second, the beeping stops. Relief hits me like a drug. Then the fridge door handle clicks. I have not touched it. The chrome surface of the handle is a thin reflection, but it is enough. In it I see a sliver of the room behind me, and with within that sliver a darker sliver, a bend in the light. The voicemail updates again without any notification sound. The play bar jumps backward and forward as if someone is scrubbing through it. My voice changes, lower, more strained. Covering does not matter, it says. You cannot cover your eyes. The overhead lights flicker once, just once, and in that blink the stainless counter becomes a perfect mirror. In that mirror, there is a hand. Not my hand. Too long, too pale. Fingers jointed wrong, resting on the edge of the counter like it owns it. I look directly at the counter. There is only flour and a half-rolled sheet of dough. I look back at the counter in the angle of the mixer bowl, and the hand is still there. And now the rest of it is there too. A suggestion of shoulders. A head that is not shaped right, as if the skull has been pressed flat. My vision tunnels. The ovens beep again. Not SOS this time, something faster, impatient. I try to remember the rule my voice said. It can only exist where I can see it twice. 2 reflections. Or me and me. I scan the room. Reflections everywhere. Stainless is a trap. I grab the towel again and start throwing it over surfaces. Oven windows. The mixer bowl. I slap parchment paper against the fridge door with a wet palm of dough like a desperate seal. Flour puffs into the air. My phone keeps talking. It is in the front now. My voice says, you gave it the door. I stop moving. I left the front of house full of glass. The display case. The front windows. The espresso machine, the black screen of the register. I listen. From the other side of the kitchen door, there is a soft scrape, like a chair being dragged again, but closer, as if the seating area has shifted right up against the door. The knob does not turn. The door does not shake. There is no physical pressure, just a scrape, and then silence. My phone buzzes again in my hand like a living thing. Voicemail. Updated. The duration is now absurd, longer than any message should be. There is no way, but the bar shows minutes, then more minutes. I press play because I cannot stand not knowing what my own voice is going to say. Now it is not my voice. It starts as my voice, then it slips like a tape warping, and another voice rides underneath, speaking the same words half a second late, like an echo that is trying to become the original. Do not turn around, it says, both voices overlapping. Do not look at your phone screen. Do not look at the oven glass. My eyes jerk to the phone screen anyway. The black glass of the screen reflects my face. Behind my reflected face, framed perfectly by the rectangle, there is something standing too close, so close that it fills the space behind my head. I spin, another, but the phone reflection shows it's still there, and now it leans forward, as if it is learning how to use the angle. My heart hammers. I throw the phone into a flour bin without thinking. The voicemail continues from under the flour, muffled, still speaking. It is in your pocket now, the echo voice says. It can be in any reflection you carry. My pocket is empty. I threw the phone. The words keep going. I realize, with a cold clarity that makes me dizzy, that I am surrounded by reflections I cannot throw away. My eyes, my memory, the idea of myself. The kitchen door opens a fraction with a soft click. I stare at it. It does not swing. It stops, as if someone has opened it just enough to look through without making a sound. No one is on the other side. I can see the narrow strip of front counter, the edge of the display case, but in the glossy black base of the case, in that strip of reflection, there is a face. Not a full face. A suggestion. Something pressed close to the glass from the other side. The beeping begins again, from the ovens, from everywhere. It is not SOS now. It is a steady pattern, like a metronome. I step backward until my shoulders hit the rack of sheet pans. Metal clinks. The sound feels like it travels through the building and tells it where I am. I reach for the back exit, the one that leads to the alley where the flour deliveries come. My hand closes around the push bar. The metal is warm. I look down. In the brushed steel of the bar, my fingers are reflected, and between them, in the warped reflection, there is another set of fingers wrapped around from the other side, as if someone is holding the bar with me. I yank my hand away and stumble. The kitchen door swings open wider without a sound. I can see the front now. The display case, the empty pastry trays, the neat rows of mugs, the street beyond the windows. Everything normal, but the reflections are wrong. In the glass case, I see the seating area, and every chair is pulled out now, as if a crowd has just stood up at once. In the front window, I see the street, and among the passing cars and morning walkers, there is a gap shaped like a person that the light refuses to fill. And in the dark screen of the register, I see myself standing in the kitchen doorway. Except I am not standing in the doorway. My reflected self is closer to the front than I am, angled differently, head tilted like it is listening. I stare, trying to reconcile it. The register reflection is not obeying my movements. I shift my weight, and the reflection lags. Then it smiles. I do not smile. My mouth stays clenched. The reflection smiles wider, and the skin around its eyes creases in a way mine does not. It looks like a person trying to remember how to be me. Behind that smiling reflection, in the same register screen, something taller stands, its outline faint, like pencil on black paper. The flour bin behind me thumps once, as if something inside has shifted. The muffled voicemail voice continues, now distant, like it is coming from the bottom of a well. It chose you because you answered, it says. It chose you because you listened. The oven beeps switch pattern again. Short along, short along, short along. I recognize only one thing about Morse. The letter for I is short long. Ere, oeka, or an admission. I step into the doorway to the front, because staying back here is worse, because the reflections are multiplying, because I think maybe fewer mirrors means fewer places it can be. My shoe sticks slightly to the tile where someone spilled syrup yesterday. The smell of butter and yeast is stronger now, almost comforting, almost normal. I keep my eyes on the matte surfaces. I avoid the case, the windows, the espresso machine, but the quiet suburb morning is bright, and brightness makes everything reflective. As I pass the display case, I catch the edge of my own face in the curved glass. The presence is right behind me in that curve, so close that I can see the texture of something like skin, but it is wrong, like wax warmed in a pocket. Its eyes are not eyes, just darker pools that reflect me back. I lurch forward, and my My shoulder bumps the case. The glass shivers. The pastries trays rattle. The ovens beep in a new pattern, faster, excited. From the corner of my vision, the register screen lights up as if touched. A line appears on the display. Voicemail playing. My phone is still buried in flour in the back, but the front register is now playing the message through its tiny speaker, tinny and clear. It is my voice again, but now it is speaking from the front of house, from the place full of glass. You are about to look where it wants, my voice says. You are about to make the mistake permanent. I clamp my hands over my ears. It does not matter. The words seem to arrive inside my skull anyway. Behind my closed eyes, I see the reflection of myself smiling, and behind that smile something moving closer, using my shape like a doorway. I open my eyes. The bakery looks the same, but every reflective surface now holds the same image. My face, smiling, not my smile. The ovens beep one last time, a single long tone that does not end. In the front window, I see the street outside, and I see myself walking away from the bakery into the morning calm, hands in pockets. I am not moving. I am still inside. The register speaker crackles, and the voicemail updates again. This time the voice says softly, like a promise, I am the one who leaves. The long beep continues, and the glass of the display case begins to fog from the inside, as if something unseen is breathing against it. On the fogged glass, a fingertip traces a line, slow and careful. It writes my name. Then it starts writing something else. I lean closer before I can stop myself, trying to read it, and in the curve of the glass I catch my own reflection lifting a hand behind my head as if to place it on my shoulder. I feel a touch that is not a touch, a pressure that is only seen. The message on the fog finishes its last letter, and the kitchen door behind me clicks shut on its own. The ovens finally stop beeping. In the sudden quiet, the register speaker plays the newest voicemail in a voice that is no longer mine, and it says, look up.